Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling, shake it up Saturday. Yes, and apologies for being an hour and a half late. We went for we've had a good. First of all, before we get into what's happened today, how was your shake it up Saturday? What did you get up to today that shook your day? That was out of the ordinary. You tried something new. You visited some new place. What did you do today to shake up your day? Did you go to a conference that you hadn't been to before, where they had really good material? Was it a workshop you were at? What did you get up to today that shook up your day? We had, what do we do here? We did everything out of order this morning, today, completely. Normally, I get up, I write, and have my hot cocoa, and then shower and get dressed, and then take the dog for a walk, and then come back, and I'll either do my live then, or depending on what time I get back from the walk, it's either do the live, then the daily training. Actually, no, we're on Saturday, so do the live, have breakfast, that sort of stuff. Today, got up, showered, dressed straight away. Don't ask me why or how. Took the dog for a walk. Had a nice long morning walk this morning because I didn't have anything on my calendar. And then we came back and did we have breakfast first and then do the live, or did we do the live and then breakfast? I can't remember. I can't remember which way we did it around, but that was our day. We just shook up the day and did everything out of our routine, which was good. We had all the doors and windows open, airing out the RV this morning as well, till before it got too hot. And it may have been like 74 degrees outside, but inside it was almost 80 because the front of the RV where the big window is that faces south. But we did get. I have a 16 inches long, however long 16 inches is, tether thing for Zeffie's long tether when we're outside, and I needed to get that into the ground today, and I was going to use it to do a pilot hole to put the stake in for my solar panel powered light that has my site number on it. And so yeah, that was I did some water blasting. I got out my brand new 100-foot hose that shrinks down to like 20 feet, and put the jet sprayer on, and I don't have the greatest water pressure, but it worked. It seemed to work pretty well. And a couple of places where I first tried were too close to the concrete pad, so we had to put them a little closer to the RV. But we finally got it in. Finally made the hole making the hole for the stake for the light that's out there with the street number on it, and it started going in really easy. And I thought, this is almost like it's in sand or something. So I went and got the stake for the light thing and put that into the ground, and then smushed everything in around it. And so it's up, it's holding, it's working. So that's a good sign. And then finally got Zeffie's long tether post thingy screwed into the ground, because it's got this big coily bit thing that's got a little ring on the top that you put a leash on. And so now she can sit out there with a 15-foot leash, and she was happy to be outside today, and not so happy when I started up with the jet because I put it on the jet and I would put it on too quickly, not realizing how much pressure there was, and it would hit the dirt and just go. And so we're getting the side of the RV, we're getting the concrete pad, I'm hitting it, it gets some of Zeffie. She's like runs as far as her leash will let her, which is all of 15 feet. And she just decides, I'm just going to stay over here. And so she had the leash as far as she could get it to go. And then she just laid down there in the shade and was like, I am not moving. I am staying here. You stay down there with that water thing. I'm just going to stay there. And then I also ended up hosing down the car as well. I didn't wash it or anything. It does need to have a wash because there is some dust on there, but I just hosed it down. Couldn't be bothered washing it today. So I figured hosing would be better than nothing. So yes, I felt very accomplished. We got the tether post in the ground, we got the street number light up and working. I totally forgot to take pictures of it, and the car got a hose down as well. So it was a very accomplished day outside, and Zeffie enjoyed staying in the shade, and whenever I was hosing down the car, she was moving to the areas where the water wasn't coming over the car and hitting her. She hates getting wet. She hates it. She hates getting wet. She avoids water at all costs. And they have patches of grass at the end of each street where you can go and walk it when you're walking your dog and stuff. And they have sprinklers coming on. Like the sprinklers will start at this one, then it'll move to this one, and no, hang on, it goes across. No, it does go. It goes down one side first and then comes back up the other side. So they have it that each. And she's been caught a couple of times recently as the thing like does this gurgling, spurting sound, and then the heads pop up and start spraying. And she's been caught a couple of times. One of them, she was in the middle of her business, so she was not happy about that. And so now she can see that the grass has just been finished with the sprinkler. She will not go on it. So I'll be walking and I'll have the grass on the left-hand side and my right arm will be like this, with her at the far end of the leash trying to pull me to the opposite side of the street. Like she wants to get as far away from the wet grass as possible. And of course, the next patch of grass already has the sprinklers on, so we're not going anywhere near those. So she's so funny with that. But it was a good morning outside getting all of that done. And that was, a couple of items off my to-do list. I was like, yes. And then we came in to have lunch and sat down and had lunch. And I thought, I'm just going to go and it's a good time to go and just put the feet up for a little bit, and we'll do one of the jigsaw puzzles on the iPad. So I started doing that, and it took me like over an hour to do one puzzle because I kept dozing off. Sitting there, and of course I kept waking up because when I fall asleep in the recliner, I tend to fall like this way. So of course then you're going to sit back up and move, and the next feeling. So then you try and say, well, I'll lean this way, but when you wake up, you're this side. So I don't know. All good fun and games though. But so we got a little bit of stuff done this afternoon as well. And then it was time to take Zeffie for a walk. Actually, we left a little late for our walk. And we came back and she sort of like looked at the car and I thought, I actually feel like going for a drive. I don't feel like being cooped up inside Sparkles tonight for now. I'm just going, we'll just go for a drive. So we hopped in and went for a mystery drive and ended up getting dinner while we were out and came back. And I've actually put dinner in the refrigerator because we got back and I was like, I really don't feel like eating. So my dinner's in the refrigerator, so I'll probably end up having it for breakfast in the morning. But it's been a good day. I've caught up on some paperwork today as well, so that was awesome. So I got some catch-up stuff done on my paperwork. I did some genealogy research today as well. I got my outside stuff done I wanted to get done. My next one is, I think it's tomorrow. I'm going to have to go to Home Depot first though, because I need I have a screwdriver bit that's about this wide, but I need one about this wide because I have these big screws on my step that I have to undo to access my house batteries, and then I have to uncap the house batteries and check the water levels. I finally got my funnel, so I can now go do that safely without it splashing everything everywhere as I add the water in. So I've got my distilled water, I have my funnels, I just need something to unscrew. And somebody said, I'll just try a quarter, but a quarter, when you use the edge of a quarter, it's not wide enough. Yes, it's because these screws are about the size of a nickel. Yeah, about the size of a nickel. Oh, that's what I was watching today. Came across this TikTok and all the questions he asked. One of them was, how many nickels are in a $5, how many nickels are in a dollar bill? And the guy just stands there and goes, I don't like nickels. 5 cents is like 20 of them. And he goes, 1,000. He's in the middle of the street somewhere. I don't know where he was. And I was sort of like, and he goes, yes, that is correct. Like, it didn't matter if they gave the right answer or the wrong answer. This guy was going, yes, that is correct. And I was sort of like, some people, we wonder about things. What was that first question he asked? Because that was a doozy. Yeah, I can't remember the question that he asked, though. I have to go back and see if I can find that video. It was hilarious. So we got caught up. And so then we went for a mystery drive this evening and ended up getting some dinner and driving back again. And I'm not usually a nighttime. I usually have difficulty seeing at night, and it's caused from my astigmatisms that I have in both eyes, that I do have difficulty with night vision. But fortunately, I didn't have a lot of traffic coming towards me, which helped a lot. And I didn't have much traffic on my side, so I kind of wasn't having to worry about being blind, because when traffic's coming towards me, I find it very hard to see the lines on the road. And I'm always grateful when there's a car in front of me, so I can just tuck in behind them and follow their tail lights. And when for any reason we had to take 2 cars and bring 2 cars home from wherever we had gone that evening, Brad would always be in his Yukon and I'd be tootling along behind them and animal. And I had to tell him, I said, and we were going through dark areas where there was not a lot of light. If it's raining, I am totally screwed because I can't see anything on the road, can't see any road markings because they're all shiny and everything. And that's the time where I like to find somebody to follow, and I just tuck them behind them. And so Brad found out very quickly after the first time he did it that he was not allowed to go the speeds he normally went because I needed to see his tail lights so I could follow them. And I would just tuck him behind his Yukon and follow his tail lights. And he knows that at night I slow down a little bit with my driving just to be cautious to make sure I can see things. But if I've got tail lights to follow, that makes it so much easier. I don't have to worry about road lines unless, of course, he goes over the road lines. But yeah, so he had to remember that when I had to follow him home in Animal, that he would do that. So yeah, that was kind of fun. Yeah, I didn't go driving because in Virginia would get snow as well, so I very rarely went driving at night in the snow because although I had ruts to follow, those ruts were easy to follow, just follow other people's ruts until they cleared the street, and then I was screwed. But it was nice. It was challenging myself to do something outside my comfort zone of going drive. Mind you, when we left, there was still some daylight around, but it got dark very quickly. So it was challenging myself to do something outside my comfort zone tonight, and it felt good. So we got back, and I was like, bought dinner, and I really don't feel like it. I'm putting it in the fridge. So that's been our day. How was your day? And your question, what posters did you have in your room when you were younger and growing up? I had the Osmonds and ABBA. Those were my 2. And then I had one that had the Charlie's Angels on it. So I remember Farrah Fawcett being up there, and Jacqueline Smith, and Kate Jackson was the third one. Yeah, I had a Charlie's Angels one up there. Pretty sure it was Charlie's Angels. Might have been something else. But the Osmonds and ABBA definitely had those up. So what posters did you have on your wall when you were growing up? Yeah. I'm trying to think what else I had up on my wall. Can't quite remember. Anyway, I'm out of here. Going to go and, hey, sweetie girl. Oh, yeah, Zeffie was sick in the car tonight. She's not usually sick in the car. But I'd given her a new treat today, and I wasn't watching her too closely, but she was. So normally when I give Zeffie like a one of her chew sticks to chew, especially the ones that will take a while, that have to age a little bit, she brings it over to me and puts it next to my leg and pushes it up against my leg as though to say, you're watching it. And of course, when I gave it to her today, I was wandering around getting lunch ready. So I'm like walking around getting lunch ready, going over to my little table over there and coming back over to the kitchen. And Zeffie's walking behind me with this chew stick sticking out of her mouth, going, around the chew stick, because she wanted to give it to me to look after, and I wouldn't stand still for her. So the poor dog was walking around. She was right behind me. She was following me wherever I went, getting all frustrated because I would not sit down. And so I finally said, okay, well, we can sit down now, and you can bring a stick over here. And so she brought over, and of course I then moved it to a safer place on the chair where it wouldn't fall off. And she comes and she sees me, and she comes trotting over it, picks it up, and walks all around the place looking for another, and then brings it back over to me and tucks it next to my leg again. And so right in front of her, I just pushed it under my leg so it would stay there, and she could still see it sticking out. And she looks at it, looks up at me, looks back down, and again, as though to say, you're definitely going to watch. I said, it's okay. Now she's hungry. Yay. So I'm wondering if the new chew, because it's one she hasn't had before, I wondered if that upset her stomach while we're out driving tonight. And yes. And then as your public service announcement tonight, the US goes out of daylight savings this evening. So tomorrow morning, you'll be back to regular time, standard time, not daylight time, but standard time. And Arizona will be back in the same time zone as the rest of the mountain time zone. So it's going to be interesting because my 8 a.m. Pacific meetings are now going to be starting at 9 a.m. for me, which is going to kind of feel weird. So my whole week next week is going to be a little strange as I try to figure out my new schedule, because my schedule would start at 8 o'clock in the morning and with the training. So Now for me, it's going to be moving to 9 a.m. So I've got this extra hour in the morning. So I think I'm going to do some work. Then get on there, do the training. I think that's what I'm going to do. But anyway, I'm out of here. Go have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow. Not sure if we're going to do our mystery drive tomorrow or not. We'll make that decision in the morning. Anyway, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you back bright and early tomorrow morning for Serenity Sunday. We get a day off tomorrow, Zeph. We get to go, hey, Conetta.